Today we are going to discuss about circular columns. So in the previous class we have discussed about short rectangular column, and we have studied how to take care of minimum eccentricity and how to find out the effective length, or what is the meaning of or importance of short column or long column in design. So far what we have discussed is short column. I have already told you that short column design is easy compared to long column, because in long column the actual axial force will come, and along with it the moment is also going to act. But the problem with long column is that the axial force is that you are going to consider, you have to look into the critical axial force, that is, or the buckling load, that also you have to take it into account when designing for long column, because long column fails by buckling. And basically the buckling load or the critical load is found to be less than pu. That means the column will fail just before uh, its axial load carrying capacity. Means whatever load carrying capacity, axial load carrying capacity it has, because of its slenderness, it will fail at a lower value than that. Okay, if pu is the axial load carrying capacity of a column, and if it's a long column, then it will fail at slightly lesser value than that. Okay, so that is why in long column we have to take care of slenderness ratio as well as the buckling effect. But in case of short column, it is buckling effect is not predominant. So in case of short column, though we will take care of load, axial load, moment as well, but here the buckling effect is not there. So no need to consider that the buckling load, that is PCR, whatever axial load carrying capacity of the concrete it has. So after calculating it out, we can directly put it there. Okay, so that is why short column design is basically a slightly easier than that of a long column. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about circular short column. Okay, so there is not much of a difference between design of a rectangular column and a circular column. Okay, the only difference that you will find that in case of circular column, we have discussed that in case of rectangular we have minimum 4 numbers of bars are required, but in case of a circular column minimum of 6 numbers of bars are required, right? Minimum of 6 numbers of bars are required. And the tying reinforcement, the tie bars can be circular, it can be something like this, or it can be helical. That means it's a continuous helical. The only difference of design in circular column comes when you are designing using a helical tie. Okay, when you are using helical reinforcement to tie the longitudinal reinforcement bars, then there is a small difference that will come compared to a rectangular column design. Other than that, all the things that you have done in case of a rectangular column design will remain same. Okay, so same way we have to find out the minimum eccentricity, that is L by 500 plus B by 30 here B and D both will be the diameter of the column. Okay, both will be the diameter of the column. Here B, in case of rectangular we have B and D, but in case of circular there is no B or no width or no depth, so only the diameter. So simply the equation becomes L by 500 plus D by 30. So something like this. So this kind of changes you will see. Other than that, it is similar to that of a rectangular column. Okay, so yeah, let's see the problem. Design a RCC circular column of 400 mm diameter for a factored axial load of 1500 kilonewton. Okay, so it is factored, and this is the axial load that is given. It has unsupported length of 3.2 meter. This will be important for us to check whether it's a short column and long column. The dimension is also given to you, and the grade of concrete is M25 and Fe415 grade of steel that should be used, and the column is fixed at both the ends. Okay, the criteria is already given. The column is fixed, just like the previous question that we have done for rectangular column. Okay, both ends are fixed, and I have already mentioned you, if this is like both ends are hinged, suppose end is not there but it is mentioned like both ends are hinged, in that case the effective length will be how much? L effective will be the L clear. That means the ratio, the multiplying factor will be 1. If it is both ends are fixed, then it is 0.65 of L clear, right? I have shown you the IS code, also the table in the IS code, how to find out this ratios, that also you can find it from the IS code. I have already mentioned all this in the previous class, that means in the class of rectangular short column design. Now let's go into the design. So what are data that are available? So major axis, so as this is a circular column, so there will be no major axis or minor axis, right? So both are same. There is no major axis, something like there is. So at this point you can skip it if you want. Okay, then diameter is 400 mm, and AZ, that is the cross-sectional area of the column, which is pi d square by 4, which comes out to be this value. Okay, then factored load already given. This is 1500 kilonewton, and unsupported length is 3.2 meter, and FCK is 25 and Fy is 415. Okay, so these data are already provided. So if you remember, the first check that we do for any column design, we check for whether it's a long column or a short column. Okay, this is the most important thing that you need to check. So let's see. So the equation for that was L effective by D, or L effective by B. So what is L effective? As both ends are fixed, so it is 0.65 into L, which is 2 in 2.08 into 10 to the power 3 mm. Okay, so L effective by D, it comes up to be around 5.2, which is basically, okay, this is to be 5, so this should be less than 12. As this is less than 12, as per clause number 5.1.2, as per this clause, if this comes to be less than 12, then it's a short column, right? This is a short column. Okay, I hope you have understood. Now next check is the check for minimum eccentricity. So this is as per clause number 25.4. so it is L by 500 plus D by 30. We have done same formula for rectangular column also, so it comes out to be 19.733 mm. But the thing is, it's mentioned that minimum of 20 mm, right? So it should be minimum of 20 mm. So E minimum will be how much? It should be 20 mm. Minimum is 20 mm. When if it, though it is 19.77, we have to consider 20 mm. Then check for loading condition. So if you check for loading condition, that is clause number 39.3, then it has been mentioned that if the minimum eccentricity lies within this value, that is 0.05 times of the lateral dimension. So let's find out what is that value. 0.05 times of d, which comes out to be 20 mm, and you see both values are at the, that is less than or equal to, right? So that is 0.05 d is less than or equal to E minimum, so it is okay. So hence clause number 39.3 can be used for the short axially loaded column. That means here only P or axial load is going to act. Only axial load is going to act. Moment we are not going to consider, because moment will come only if 0.05 t you come gets to be less than the E minimum. Suppose you get E minimum value as suppose 25. In that case 0.05 d would be less than E minimum, which is 25, right? 0.25 d is 20 mm, 20 is less than 25. In that case you have to design for P as well as the moment, which is P into E. E is what? E minimum. We will solve one problem there. You can see how to calculate the moment and how to take care of this. But for now, as the minimum eccentricity lies it is less than or equal to 0.05 times of d, so it can be on design as a short axially loaded column. Moment is not required to be considered. Okay, now uh, factored load, which is already given to us, which is 1.5, so there is no change. Then design of longitudinal reinforcement. Now the important thing, or this change will come here. If you see yeah, clause number 39.4. This clause is for compression members with helical reinforcement. Helical reinforcement is provided where? In case of circular column. Okay, helical reinforcements are something like this. It's continuous, just like a helix. Okay, so in case of helical reinforcement, the strength of compression member with helical reinforcement satisfying the requirement of 39.4.1 shall be taken as 1.05 times the strength of the similar member with lateral ties. So that means if your similar member you have in one member you have provided simple, say suppose circular or simple rectangular reinforcement or lateral ties, in other case you are providing a helical reinforcement. In that case the column with the helical reinforcement will have a larger strength, which is around 1.05 times of the strength of the column with a rectangular or circular reinforcement. Okay, so as we are assuming that it's a circular column, so we are going to use helical reinforcement. Okay, so as we are going to provide helical reinforcement, so the equation changes to Pu is equal to, you multiply 1.5 times with the previous equation. That is, the previous equation was this one, 0.4 FCK into AC plus 0.67 FY ASC, right? The similar equation you have to use, but only difference is that you have to add or you have to multiply this value with 1.05. So you put the values. AZ is already known to you. You just need to find out ASC. You put the values and ASC comes out to be 641.426 mm square. So this much of compressive steel need to be provided in the column. Okay, so also in the previous class we have discussed what is the minimum reinforcement in say column. It is 0.8%. What is the maximum one? Which was 6%, right? And practically which is provided, maximum of 4% is provided, not more than that. So let's see what is the minimum as a requirement, which is 0.8%. 0.8% comes out to be around 1000 mm square, but the requirement is 640, so we have to provide the minimum reinforcement. You have to always check whether the reinforcement that you have provided, it is more than the minimum and less than the maximum. Okay, so here the minimum is around 1000 mm square, so that much of reinforcement you have to provide, though it is not required as per the design. Then the reinforcement requirements are in the clause number 26.5.3. You can check it. Then how many numbers of bars are required? So if you assume 12 mm bar, then it comes out to be around 8.8. That means around 9 numbers of bars will be required. So let us provide 9 12 mm bars spaced equally. Okay, so ASC provided will be how much? It is around 1080 mm square, which is basically more than what is ASC required, right? ASC required is nothing but ASC minimum. ASC minimum. Okay, then what is the percentage that we have provided, which is 81%? So obviously it is more than 0.8%, what is required for us. Okay, so it is very clear, it is very easy. Basically the column design is very easy. Now spacing of the bars. So you know that what should be the spacing of parallel bars. We have discussed, we have studied it while we were studying beams. So there we have studied what should be the distance of parallel bars, right? So in no case the spacing should be more than 300 mm, right? So let's see what's the spacing available, and also we have to take care of like the spacing should not be so less that your concrete cannot go out and fill up this cover portion. Okay, that should not be there. So spacing is important. So let's find out what is the spacing, which is pi d by 9. That is 9 numbers of spaces will be there. Total area is pi d, so it is around 139 mm. So it's okay. Basically it is okay, which is more than maximum, say aggregate size 520 plus 5, which is 25, and also it is less than 300, so it is found okay. And the minimum steel is 0.8%, maximum is 6%. Obviously the whatever steel you have provided, which is more than minimum and less than maximum. So it is very understand, means very easy while you will design. Okay, to design the spiral reinforcement. Now there is a thing is that the spiral reinforcement need to be designed as per clause number 39.4.1. So what does this clause says? The ratio of the volume of the helical reinforcement. So whatever volume of helical reinforcement you have provided, the volume, okay, mind it, the volume of helical reinforcement that you have provided shall not be less than 0.36 Az by Ac minus 1 FCK by Fy. So you have to calculate what is the volume of spiral reinforcement you have provided in say 1 meter, and then you have to compare it, and that should not be less than this value. Okay, so now our task is to find out the volume of the spiral reinforcement. So if you see the isometric view, so suppose for one turn it will just look like this, right? So it will start from a lower height and it will go to the upper height. So it's a one turn, right? So that this distance is called pitch, right? This called as pitch. And if you see from the top, if this is the column, say this is the column, and we have the reinforcements here, and this will look, this is the stirrup or helical reinforcement all around the longitudinal reinforcement. Okay, this is the helical reinforcement. Okay, now see, volume of the core. Now let's find out. Yeah, it's mentioned the ratio of volume of the helical reinforcement to the volume of the core. So we have to find out both volume of the reinforcement as well as the volume of the core. Okay, so core means the reinforcement which is within this region. This is called core. Within this blue area, this is called core. Okay, so within this core portion, what is the volume of this core, and then the ratio of the helical reinforcement, volume of the helical reinforcement to the volume of the core, that should be less than this value, right? So what is the core? So first, core diameter you have to find out. Core diameter will be actual diameter, overall diameter minus the clear effective cover. So assuming that, the clear cover is 40 mm for column, so 2 into 40, so it is around 320 mm. Okay, this is the diameter of the core. Then volume of the core will be just pi d cube, pi d square by 4 into the pitch is st is nothing but the pitch. Okay, for one turn, whatever depth is there, that is that is called pitch, right? St, and that st is for one turn of a spiral, what how much volume of concrete is present, that is mentioned from there. Okay, v core, volume of the core in one pitch of the spiral reinforcement, which is pi d square by 4 into st, and area of the core will be pi d square by 4, which is this one. Now assume the helical bar dia as 8 mm. So assuming that helical bar dia is 8 mm, the pitch is st. So the volume of the helical bar will be, see, the bar is rotating and going up and ending it here for one pitch, right? In one turn it goes from here to here, so it has a elevation, right? In the side view, if you see, you will see two locations. You will start from here, it will move upward and end it here. This is something like this. This is something like this. It will go from here, then it will come over here. Okay, I think I should draw it something like, it will go from here and it will go up here. Okay, it will come up here. So this is st. Now what is the volume of the spiral reinforcement? The first is the volume will be area into the length. So area is the cross sectional area, that is pi d square by 4 is the cross sectional area into the length of the spiral or one pitch. For one pitch, what is the length? So length will be pi into d, perimeter of a circle, right? Perimeter of a circle, which is pi into d. So pi into d core minus 8 mm. Why 8 mm is done? See, d core is basically the diameter up to the outer side of the spiral. That means if this is the column and this is the spiral, then the distance to the side of the spiral, this is 40, because I told you the 40 is the clear cover, not effective cover. That means it's not up to the center of the reinforcement. Okay, so it is up to the uh, side of the reinforcement. So d core is basically up to the side of the spiral reinforcement. So as this length you are doing for the length of the spiral, so the length of the spiral will be most appropriate when, if you take the diameter as the center of the stirrup. That means if this is the stirrup, right? So this is the stirrup. So if you take the center of the stirrup, then most appropriately you will get the actual perimeter or actual length of the spiral, right? So that is why it is taken up to the center. That means suppose if I draw it something like this, suppose this is the spiral, then up to the center of this spiral, okay, from this center to this center, that is considered as, from this center to this center, this is nothing but d core minus 8. It is the diameter of the spiral. Okay, so pi d core minus d, it gives you the actual perimeter of the spiral into the cross section area of the spiral, and this will give you the volume of the helix or helical within one turn or one pitch. Now, the quote says that the volume of the spiral or the helical reinforcement to the volume of concrete or core should be more than 0.36 times of that equation that we have seen, right? So we have to find out the ratio now. This was the equation 0.36 AC by AC minus 1 whole into FCK into Fy, FCK by Fy. So V helical by V core should be greater than this value. So if you now our main objective is to find out the spacing of the stirrup or the pitch of the stirrup. Okay, our main objective is to find the spacing or the pitch ST. This is our what we need to find out, because we are designing, so we have to say that spiral we are providing the pitch, this much of pitch is needed, so that is what you are requiring. But this is the condition. From this condition, how can you find out this ST? So it can find out the equation of ST from here. So in the core, the volume of the core says it is pi d square by 4 into ST, right? So from here you can find out what is the value of ST. So if you put it here and if you solve this equation for ST, you will get it something like this. And if you put the values, and ST comes out to be around less than 50.219 mm. Okay, this should be the pitch. Now helical reinforcement, the diameter as well as spacing requirement. So diameter should not be more than 4 times of the maximum diameter of the bar, longitudinal bar that you're using, and 6 mm. So it should not be less than any of this. So we are providing 8 mm bar, so it is okay. Okay, and the spacing we are calculating from this equation, that is I think that also satisfies this criteria. You can see yeah, spiral spacing should not be less than a minimum of the following, that is 75, and d core by 4 is 80. It should not be less than this. Okay, that means and the spiral spacing should be more than the maximum of the following, and yeah, this should be less, not should not. I told you probably it should not be less, it should be actually should be less. So that means it is a maximum value, so it should be less than this. So we have 50, so basically it is more, 50 is less than both 75 and 80, so it is okay. And the spiral spacing should be more than this, that is 25 mm, and the 3 times of the spiral diameter of the bar that you're using. So it's 3 times of it, that is 24 mm. So all these things you will get it from this clause, helical reinforcement clause. Okay, the helical reinforcement shall be rectangular formation with the turns of the helix spaced evenly, and its ends shall be anchored properly by providing 1.5 extra turn of the spiral bar. Okay, at the top and bottom, 1.5 spiral turn, extra spiral turn should be given. where an increased load on the column and the strength of the helical reinforcement is allowed for, the pitch of the helical turns shall not be more than 75 mm nor more than 1/6 of the core diameter. It should not be more than this, and it should not be less than 25 mm or less than 3 times of the diameter of the steel bars forming the helix. Okay, so from this basically we have done all these calculations. So you also have to do this, and then you can just draw the figure and put results. Like this is circular, so we need around six numbers of sorry, here actually 9 numbers of 12 mm bars are required. So in the drawing it's different, you just put it extra uh, 3 bars. Suppose equal distribution should be there. So a small mistake with the drawing, but never mind, you have to provide 9 numbers of 12 mm bar, don't do the mistake. And 8 mm spiral with 50 mm center to center pitch. And here this is a pitch. Here you can see this is a spiral reinforcement 8 mm bar, and 9 numbers of 12 mm bars to be provided. So this is how you design a circular column, basically circular short column. Okay, uni-axial, yeah, only axial load, only axial load you are considering. So this is how we have to design. I think you have found it very easy compared to design of beams and slabs and all, and you can definitely score good marks while designing the columns. So please go through this, and if you have any doubt, please let me know. And also please constantly look for the IS codes. Okay, so please go through that IS code properly. um, if you have not print it out, you should print it out, and you should regularly look for the code and different clauses. Otherwise you will not understand how to see, or you will not be accustomed to the IS code. Okay, but if you do not know how to see the IS code, how to find the clauses in IS code, that is a huge setback. That will be a huge setback for your future. Okay, so please look into the IS codes and also go through the problems that I have discussed previously. And also please try to mind the extra things that I say along with the PDF. Okay, that means like what a short column, long column, how to check it. These things are very important, and because the questions might be asked from those things. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can refer to me, you can ask me. And with this I will conclude today's class. Okay, thank you.